2 episodes more, and Sanditon Season 3 will be over. We are still yearning for signals of a happy ending, but it seems the writers will make us wait until the last minutes of the final episode. In episode 3, Charlotte rejected Alexander, reminding him that she made a promise to Ralph and her parents. Episode 4 saw her following up on her promises. She tried to avoid Alexander as much as possible, but they were repeatedly thrown into each other's orbit. The last minutes of episode 4 showed Augusta and Edward running away, with the Colburn asking for Charlotte's help to find Augusta. This means that the penultimate episode of the season will present Alexander and Charlotte together, away from the eyes of everyone, where they can finally face their feelings for each other. Let's look at the episode 5 preview to see if that will happen. The preview opens with Charlotte running down the stairs. She has a bag prepared, which means she will take the road. She says Augusta's future's at stake. She is probably talking to Ralph here. Ralph doesn't like that Charlotte spends too much time in Sanditon. It's almost as if he understands his fiancée does not want to be near him. And in the next scene, where Charlotte is getting into the carriage with Alexander, Ralph's face says it all. He looks after the carriage with such a sad face that you can see he senses that something's wrong with Charlotte. Even though Alexander says he will ensure Charlotte returns safely, we don't think Ralph trusts him or is comfortable with him going on a journey with Charlotte. But he is also pretty decent, so he can't just say no to Charlotte and forbid her from going. That's not who he is. So he has to suffer through it. Anyways, there are other scenes to talk about in preview. One is where Arthur speaks to Georgiana about her not loving Harry. If you remember, Georgiana and Harry announced their engagement in the previous episode, which immensely hurt Arthur, as you can imagine. Now, he feels betrayed by both Georgiana and Harry. He thinks that if she doesn't love Harry, she shouldn't marry him. And Georgiana replies, it has nothing to do with love. The way Georgiana says this is concerned because she looks petty and unconcerned about Arthur's feelings. We know she thinks about her future, but is she that blind not to see Arthur's pain and suffering? As Arthur demands to know if Harry's happiness is also important, we see a romantic moment between him and Harry. They're holding hands and looking at each other with passion. We could interpret this as them not wanting to relinquish their newfound love. They seem to have something precious going on, and we don't blame them for not wanting to let that go. Another scene in the trailer shows Tom and Mary fighting, as they have been doing for the last 2 or 3 episodes. Tom agreed with Raleigh Price's plan to build a seaside hotel, which included destroying the old town where many people live, including one of Mary's former maids and her children. Mary thinks it would be cruel to destroy these people's houses and force them to move somewhere else, disrupting their lives as if they were nothing. But Tom appears to have convinced himself that this is merely a business. We like that Mary has her own stance on this because since the beginning, she has always been a supportive partner, agreeing with whatever her husband does. But now, she sees something wrong and is unafraid to voice her opinion. Now, the following scenes of the trailer are the least exciting ones. They show Edward and Augusta. At first, they kiss each other on the lips, and Augusta asks if Edward loves her. She appears to need reassurance because perhaps she saw a change in Edward's attitude toward her. Edward's response is interesting, but manipulative nonetheless. He says, "How could you ask me that?" He's dodging the question by blaming Augusta. Manipulation 101. When will this girl understand how sick of a man Edward is? It's now time to look at the most important scenes of the preview. Charlotte and Alexander are walking down a road. They are in a hurry. Perhaps they learned about Augusta's whereabouts and hurried to find her there. We hear Alexander's voiceover as he talks to Charlotte. He says, "If you've taught me anything, Miss Haywood, it's that a young woman has a right to choose her destiny." It looks like Alexander will not be so hard on Augusta because these words indicate that he believes Augusta should choose her own destiny. She should decide who she wants to be with. And the words are also important because they signify Alexander's respect for Charlotte. In the last scene, Charlotte stops Alexander by touching his arm and she seems to say something to him, but we don't know what she says. We're guessing she asks him to go easy on Augusta, not to blame her or get angry at her for falling for Edward's trap. That's where the preview ends, and we believe this was just the tip of the iceberg of the scenes we'll see with Alexander and Charlotte together. What will happen in episode 5? Will Augusta learn the truth about Edward? Will Charlotte and Alexander get closer? Let us know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video. Subscribe to our channel for more videos like this. See you soon.